How much of that did you taste?
That tasted very good, actually. Welcome to a tea review. Today we will be talking about Earl Grey tea. Specifically, Harney & Sons Earl Grey tea and Earl Grey Supreme. And we will be answering the age-old question, Beth.
Are they the same?
No, the age-old question is Earl Grey Supreme actually supreme?
Supreme.
Mm-hmm. Does it reign supreme over these two Earl Greys?
Okay.
Beth's gonna start by telling us about the regular Harney & Sons Earl Grey. Take it away, Beth.
Okay, so, I mean, it's like any other normal Earl Grey, but it's better than what you buy at the store. Of course, you can buy Harney & Sons tea at the store.
So it might be exactly the same.
It might be the same.
If you buy this at the store, it might be exactly the same.
I'm saying if you see this at the store, this is what you should buy, not Twinings or
shots fired, Twinings.
Big
no, you're supposed to be telling it just...
So the Harney & Sons Earl Grey tea, this one, not the Supreme one, it has black tea, oolong tea, and bergamot oil in it.
Can confirm. Yeah, so the oolong tea is probably an interesting feature that isn't in most Earl Grey teas you see at the store and, you know, in some of the nicer cheap places. So yeah, that's a unique thing about the regular Harney & Sons Earl Grey tea. So the Earl Grey Supreme over here, the thing that sets it apart from the regular Earl Grey from Harney & Sons is the addition of white tea. So in the ingredients list, it's black tea, oolong tea, white tea, and bergamot oil. And so that on paper, those are the differences. So in the regular Earl Grey tea blend, the tea leaves, it's not tea dust. Harney & Sons usually does a good job of not having dust, but it's definitely not like full leaves. It's still like cut leaves and there's a little bit of twigs in there, which is pretty normal. This is by no means the fanciest tea, but it's not like the lowest of low teas either. It's somewhere in the middle. And then when it comes to the Earl Grey Supreme, it looks basically identical, except every now you see like a silver tip. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is, like a white leaf.
They're like bigger, the white ones.
Yeah, well, a white tea is like the buds before they're even fully leaves. So there's a few of those like sprinkled throughout the tea. The amount of visible white tea leaves is not enough to put one white tea leaf in every cup.
What he said.
So, it makes me a little sad, if I'm being honest. Because then it seems like the white tea, there's just barely enough in there to use it as like a marketing thing. That's like, oh, it's fancier, it's got white tea, and they throw like 30
some bits,
like, yeah, leaves in there.
Yeah.
I think that's enough talking. Should we taste the teas?
Yeah,
or we've already tasted them. We've been tasting them for months leading up to this.
So I have to say, I really like Earl Grey tea. And for the last month, every time I have like, I sip out of the first cup and I'm like, this is the one. I really like this one. And then I drink out of the next one and I'm like, this is also very good. This is also the one. It's really hard for me to tell a difference. Like I know, like deep down that I am tasting a slight difference, but I couldn't actually say like.
In your tongue of tongues, you can taste the difference.
Yeah, sure. But like.
In your heart of hearts.
I couldn't say like, this is the difference that I'm tasting right now. One of them is definitely more bitter to me, I think.
Whichever one you taste first is the one you like the most that day. That's
pretty much how it's been the whole time. Whichever one I taste first, I'm like, yes, I like it. This is the one. But then my guess as to like which tea it is like a 50-50 shot, and I get it right half the time.
So my thoughts on the taste is you got the regular Earl Grey, the bergamot and the black tea flavors are much more balanced to each other. One's not necessarily overpowering the other, whereas the Earl Grey Supreme, the bergamot, there's a lot more bergamot in that. And that's what actually led us to put less tea in while steeping it, is because if we steep these with the same amount of tea in, 3.5 grams, then the bergamot on the Earl Grey Supreme would be really strong and too much. So we dial that back to 3 grams to 8 ounces, and we keep the regular Earl Grey at the 3.5 grams for 8 ounces. So if you really, really like bergamot, then the Earl Grey Supreme might be for you. So which one would you buy?
I don't know why I'm trying to think through this so much. I think I would just buy Earl Grey, to be honest. I like it straightforward. It's pretty good.
Before I give my conclusion, I did some maths. Price is a big deal when it comes to this. For all of you who are following along very closely at home, you will know that we put less from the Earl Grey Supreme when we make a cup of that. So I did some maths. Regular Earl Grey at 3.5 grams per cup comes out to 32 cups in a 4-ounce tin, and that's 31 cents per cup of just tea. So there you go. 31 cents per cup of tea. Pretty good. A lot cheaper than Starbucks. Now for the Earl Grey Supreme, even though it's 50 cents more expensive, we're only putting 3 grams of tea per cup. And that comes out to 37.33333333 cups per tin. And so that brings the price per cup down to 28 cents per cup.
Dude, so this is the budget tea.
Yeah, if you're trying to go for a bang for the buck, it's actually I would go for the Earl Grey Supreme.
If you follow the way that we were trying to do it.
But it's still very minimal differences. So all that to say, I would rather get the regular Earl Grey.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just think if you were to have it in the morning, the regular Earl Grey stands up better in the morning because the tea is stronger.
Yeah.
It's a little stronger. Because if you have I just like stronger tea in the morning. So if you have Earl Grey, if I was to drink it in the morning, I'd choose the Earl Grey. If I was drinking it in the afternoon, it's kind of a toss-up between the two of them. But when you start mixing it and you do like London fogs and stuff, I think the regular Earl Grey maybe will hold up better.
Stands up better to all the vanilla.
Putting the extra stuff in because it has the tea. It's just a stronger tea.
So there you go.
So there you go.
You should go get some and then decide
answering
what's
the
best for you.
age, I guess, do we answer the age-old question?
The age-old question.
What is the answer?
Original. Earl Grey.
The question was, does Earl Grey Supreme reign supreme?
Oh,
and the answer is no, it does not.
It doesn't. That's so sad.
Cheers.
Cheers. My tea's gone. See you next time.